best way, I think, to paint these horses is to just look at the shapes and just go for an impression of horses. So what do I see? I've got a dark shape here, which is like a triangle. Make sure we leave plenty of white behind. There's a curve there, which is the horse's neck. We've then got a little bit of a white gap there. Another curve, which then leads us to the legs, and we'll just suggest those legs. And then we'll say the mother horse. Again, leave a little bit of a highlight for the top of the head. A little bit of a gap there. Again, a leg. Make that leg a bit thick, but oh well. Okay, and just look at the shapes. Not easy, this. And that one looks like it has actually got a saddle on it. It's slightly warmer. More of a burnt sienna. But what else is going to be in the field when you've got two cowboys there? It's going to be a horse, isn't it? So let's hide some of those dodgy legs. Some shadows. Lift off a little bit of a highlight on the shoulder there. Then the side of the leg. On the I don't mind them becoming one shape. Then onto the figures. So they're kind of in shadow. So just take a bit of Lazarne Crimson and mix it in with some of this other paint I've got on here. Again, like on the horses, just look at the shapes. It's just a little bit of a highlight. At the front. Take some neutral tint straight from the tube, mix it into there, and I shall get the dark of the hair in while this is still damp, and suggest the eye socket, and probably painting the eye socket more than the actual features. His moustache. And add a little bit more red into there. Just let it all melt together. the illusion or the impression of these features will be better than trying to make them perfect, because it will just look stuck on the the face that you're trying to do, because it's it's tiny, it's no bigger than my thumbnail, so it's not a portrait. So nice strong dark for the hat, so thick paint. And again, we've got light the front. And where you don't want this to run into the face, just leave a bit of a white gap. It's going to add a bit of sparkle. Around the back of the head, where the back of the head's in shadow, that would be quite good if we get a bit of a mix in there. Put those few little bits of sparkle on the hat, quite good. I'm just going to dry my brush off and just manipulate that, make that a soft edge, let it disappear. We can't see the... Let me just lift off a little bit off the side of the face. Try not to mess about with it too much. Lose a little bit of those sparkles. Just take away some of that light. And then I think yellow ochre for his jacket, mixed in with some of that. Again, it's got light hitting the side of his jacket there. And looks like there's a bit of reflected light, so a bit of red into there, maybe coming off the grass. To the yellow ochre. Obviously, as Europeans, we all think you Americans all wear cowboy hats and have horses. That's how you travel. As you think all those French guys here, obviously I'm not French, but we'll wear berets here in France. You'd be surprised how many do. So I'm mixing a bit of red in there. It's quite thick paint here. I'm trying to get that contrast, light and dark. So I'm going for a more sort of realistic sort of approach. And lift off a little bit of paint. That's where that reflected light was. And then straight into his trousers. Green, blue. Into there, create a dark. And we need to connect that dark up to the base of the jacket. Maybe we can get a few darks in there.
So hopefully you're enjoying this video. Please do hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want to join me on memberships to take your watercolors to the next level.
Just pull some of yellow ochre up into there. Standing in the long grass. paint on there, scratch out a little bit. And then repeat the process for cowboy number 2. Dark there. He's actually got his hands in his pocket there, really. The jacket needs to come around there a bit more. Too much off there. It needs to be dark. Stop fiddling around. Again, nice strong dark. Use just a bit of clean water for the light hitting the side of his hat. Tint into there. The side of his head is dry because I was messing about over here. Dark hair, back into the brown. So just take a damp brush. And just manipulate that a little bit. Suggestion over anything else. Now we're not doing eyes, nose and mouths on this. Just can't see them. Darker with that hat. Straight into his jacket that's perhaps receiving a bit of light on that side. So don't be afraid to really use thick, strong paint. You know, when you want to go dark, it's the only way. Just a little bit of white paper left behind just for that rim lighting, it makes such a difference. And then we're straight into the jeans. And the long grass doesn't really make sense because the horses aren't really long grass, but maybe this is a hedgerow. They're standing in front of a hedge. Shape of that better. His hands. He's got his hands at the ready. A little bit of a dark under here. I'll just take a damp brush. While this is still damp here, I can just perhaps lift off a little bit of light off his collar, off his shoulder. Maybe suggest that legs go in further into that long grass. I think that's a little bit too light. It needs to be more in shadow. Take a little bit of yellow ochre. Just put in his hair there. So that's worked well, and it's worked well because I've got some white paper against some really dark pigment there, which gives it a lot of contrast, gives that sense of light. And I haven't done any features on the face, suggested it, but the proportions were okay because I started with an accurate drawing. I think I got away with the horses, that they look like horses. Probably the things is don't overthink it, connect them up. As long as it's got a horse's head shape with 4 legs coming down from it, we should be okay. Obviously the background I forgot to press record on, but I've got another demo very similar with another couple of Cowboys, which I will press record for that. So watch that one for the background, but no, have a go with some figures which are a bit more detailed like this, but no, you still don't have to put a lot of detail in. If we look at close at their faces, you know, it's all just suggestion. You know, we step back from it. Yeah, and that's what happens. They become the figures. So good luck, try to give that a go, and I'll see you on the next video.